Sup guys, it's me, it's your old mate Jake, and we're back with another reaction video. Jake reacts to the top 20 creepiest things caught on live TV. Now, I am coming into this video like I do, you know, any video about anything being scary or creepy or dangerous. I'm like, yeah, okay, we're gonna get into this, yeah, okay, we're gonna watch it, we're gonna react to it, but am I really gonna be creeped out? Am I really gonna be scared? Well, there's really only one video in the past that I've been extremely scared about. If you want to watch that, go back in the video library. But today, we've got 20. It's a lengthy video, it's going to be a fun one. It's the top 20 creepiest things caught on live TV. So that's how, in my opinion, this differs itself from most other videos. This is caught on live TV. This is going to be fun. My name is Jake. This is my brand new YouTube channel. I want to welcome you to it, and I want to welcome you to this video. So let's get into it.
Don't adjust your sets. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 creepiest things that were caught on live TV. For this list, we'll be looking at moments broadcast live on television that caused concerned viewers at home, disregarding on-screen death and gore, as well as creepypasta.
Okay, I've been absolutely gobsmacked already.
And fake news, like the infamous Wyoming incident.
Republican president.
Oh, look. I've got the goosebumps going. Holy shit. I saw this one in the previous video, but I mean, that's just strange, isn't it? The Wyoming incident. Anyway, we're gonna get into it.
Number 20, zombie
freaky.
emergency alert. Back in 2013, a handful of Americans were tricked into thinking that Armageddon was finally at the door by a prankster who seemed to have been taking notes from Orson Welles.
Metal casing is definitely extraterrestrial. Not found on this Earth. Friction with the Earth's atmosphere usually tears holes in a meteorite. This thing is smooth.
The unnamed Joker found a way to hack into a Montana TV station's emergency broadcast system and sent out a newsflash detailing the rise of the undead from their graves, along with a warning not to engage. The hoax announcement played over airings of the Steve Wilkos show, and despite its illegitimacy, the message sounded real enough to turn a few heads, stirring concern among viewers across parts of the United States.
Do not attempt to approach or apprehend these bodies as they are considered extremely dangerous.
Fortunately, it wasn't long before the truth was made known and the perpetrator was apprehended. Number 19, the haunted dolly. Here's one that'll rock the boat. On ITV's This Morning, a couple were being interviewed about alleged strange activity surrounding a China doll they'd gotten from a thrift store.
You almost look like Debbie don't want to even look at the doll.
No, I don't.
Are you a bit scared?
I don't even want to touch it.
Really?
Oh, nah.
This included scratches on the husband and sporadic fire alarm bursts. Whilst the hosts were rightly skeptical, viewers were more convinced. They observed the doll start to rock in its chair during the interview, seemingly of its own volition.
That chair's beginning to rock.
Rocking.
Look at that.
Who's doing that? Stop it. Who's doing that?
The doll was on the show again just a few weeks later, but this time with a new owner.
The lady who bought the doll in here originally, who bought it, she said her husband was scratched on his arms and legs.
Yeah, she did, didn't she?
So do you believe that this doll has done that?
Yes, I do, because I've been scratched over the past week or 8 days that I've had the doll on my arm.
It's no surprise the toy changed hands so quickly. We've all seen enough movies to know that keeping possessed dolls around is a big no-no.
Oh jeez, that's
Number
freaky,
18,
isn't it?
WrestleMania chokeout.
That is creepy.
It's well known that pro wrestling is a staged but nonetheless dangerous sport that can inflict some serious injury. Richard Belzer learned this when he was choked out by Hulk Hogan on his talk show in 1985. The Hulkster, who was on the show with Mr. T promoting the very first WrestleMania, was asked by Belzer to demonstrate some wrestling moves in keeping with the promotion. Hogan responded with a headlock that sent him straight to sleep. Mr. T quickly tried to ease the shocked crowd during Belzer's blackout with a few reassuring quips.
I was a sleeper hole, he'd be alright.
And Belzer fortunately regained consciousness, along with a few stitches and one heck of an anecdote some moments later.
And now, we'll be right back after this word from you-know-who. We'll be right back.
Number 7.
Oh my god, what an absolute legend. Comes back from getting choked out by Hulk Hogan, realizes what's just happened, remembers that he just requested to be choked out, and comes back with that. Holy shit, that's not creepy, that's legendary.
The Vietnam War Draft Lottery. Who wants to be a veteran? In 1969, at the peak of the war in Vietnam, CBS televised a draft lottery to determine individuals for military service and aired live from Washington's Selective Service headquarters.
The Draft Lottery, a live report on tonight's picking of the birth dates for the draft.
The lottery worked by drawing birth dates at random, followed by a second drawing of letters of the alphabet to decide which men would be sent overseas first. This controversial method had not been used since 1942 during World War II. Though we thankfully live in a time where such a lottery is neither necessary nor permitted, watching this broadcast today is a chilling reminder that the futures of hundreds of men were decided by a simple sheet of paper that they watched pulled at random on television.
September 14th.
Oh God! Oh God, imagine watching that. Not wanting to go to war and hearing your birthday come up. No.
September 14, 001.
Number 16.
If nothing else, that is creepy.
Earthquake news flash. California is no stranger to the occasional rumble, but the cameras happened to be rolling during a big one in 1989. During the World Series that saw the San Francisco Giants take out the Oakland Athletics, an enormous earthquake struck the Bay Area and was caught live on television. With a magnitude of 6.9, the Loma Prieta quake was large enough to interrupt the broadcast of the game, though it can easily be misinterpreted as crowd jubilation. Screams can actually be heard just before the game feed is cut and the picture switches to the news.
Candy Maldonado with the hesitation, allowing Jose Canseco to score, and he fails to get Dave Parker at second base, so the Oakland A's take
Though the stadium was able to withstand the tremors, the rest of the city was subjected to major power disruptions, blackouts, and property damage.
The downtown section of Santa Cruz is basically gone. All the old brick, unreinforced buildings have collapsed. This is a department store called Ford's. It collapsed. The second story came down into the...
Interesting he talks about the brick buildings, because I'm from a place called Christchurch, and Christchurch was struck with multiple big earthquakes. The first of which was in late 2010, and the worst of which was on the 22nd of February 2011. And post-earthquake, I think 150 people died. Not only that, but, well, I mean, that's insane to think about. 150 people. Most of which were from one building that was built below building standard. Anyway, the building collapsed on itself, I think a 5 or 6 story building with students in it, mostly Asian students. Absolutely heartbreaking. But what also happened is that every single brick building in the city literally crumbled. So we're talking churches, we're talking houses, anything that was within the vicinity of that earthquake literally crumbled. And I mean, that just goes to show the force of these earthquakes. That was 6.9, I think they said. The Christchurch earthquake was, geez, I'm going to say 7.5 or something like that. It's just not so much creepy, but certainly devastating.
To the first floor, trapping several people inside.
Number 15, Czech TV's Panorama Prank. What a bombshell to drop. In 2007, as viewers of Czech television's program Panorama were treated to a beautiful shot of the mountain, the tranquility was soon ruined by a blinding white light and the unmistakable sight of a mushroom cloud.
Podle mluvčího České televize Martina Krafla byly záběry velmi nevhodné a mohly vyděsit velké množství lidí. Česká televize...
The bombing was quickly and fortunately revealed as a hoax, masterminded by the guerrilla art pranksters known collectively as Zootoven. The group had apparently hacked the show's live camera feed, where they could then overwrite the footage with a CGI render they'd prepared. Zootoven explained that the prank illustrated how easy it can be for the media to manipulate and influence its consumers with false information. The lengths some artists will go to get their work shown on TV. Number 14, the disappearing airport lady. Luggage goes missing all the time at terminals, but human beings, not so much.
What?
That's what appeared to happen during an interview for Danish network's TV2 Sports Center. At an airport baggage claim, just behind the gentleman on camera, a blonde woman seemed to vanish into thin air as another traveler passed in front of her. Freaky stuff for viewers who saw it live, but a logical explanation does exist. The ghost lady was identified as Danish handball player Trine Jensen. Under close analysis, she can be assumed to have walked in tandem with the passing woman, creating an
No, that's too fast.
In the moment, however, it seemed like a paranormal phenomena right out of the X-Files.
No, surely not.
Number 13, talk show possession. There's certainly more to this girl than meets the eye. On a talk show in 2016, Thai model Tipawa Chafupong made an appearance and claimed to have been possessed by an evil, bloodthirsty ghost while holidaying. This entity, known as Pop, was said to hunger for animal blood and human flesh. The confused hosts then watched as Shafu Puang began to exhibit strange behavior, muttering to herself and screaming. Most viewers were disturbed by her behavior, but not so much sold on it. Many called it suspiciously convenient that Pop took hold on live television. Regardless, it hardly made for comfortable viewing. Number 12, prayer phone-in possession. Chafu Pong's live actions may have been uneasy to the eyes, but this next example of on-air possession proved to be an assault on the ears.
We've got our first caller, inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, sister.
This religious live show encourages viewers to call in and receive advice and guidance from a holy sheikh. One such phone call was made by a woman in 2011, claiming to have been overtaken by a demonic entity known colloquially as a jinn.
Also,
The woman then supposedly underwent a sudden change in personality while staying on the line, laughing sinisterly as she mocked the Islamic host. The sheikh proceeded to banish the demon with an impromptu exorcism, and the bizarre episode was done. Whether it was fake or genuine...
Oh god, I don't know why, but my whole entire body is covered in goosebumps.
CBS. 1992 years later, Los Angeles descended into chaos as riots erupted following the acquittal of the officers behind Rodney King's heavily publicized abuse.
We saw what we saw. What we saw was a crime.
You got another white jury saying that it's okay for white cops to beat up black people, and that's racism American style, and it's been that way from the get.
King's ruthless assault at the hands of the LAPD was videotaped and broadcast a year earlier to massive outcry. During the riots, as angered citizens looted stores and destroyed public property, an emergency broadcast was sent out across all of LA County's biggest TV stations to inform the public of the carnage. In the message, an emergency curfew was announced to be in effect from 6:45 p.m. onward.
This is the activation of the emergency broadcast system for LA County. Effective at 6:45 p.m. this date, the Los Angeles County Emergency Operations Center has announced expanded boundaries for the emergency curfew.
This chilling yet formal announcement heralded a rise in tension for the citizens of Los Angeles as they watched the collapse of their social order unfold on screen. Number 10, alien lights over Milwaukee. It was only a matter of time until aliens came up. During a live Fox 6 news broadcast, a group of mysterious lights were seen floating above the Milwaukee night sky. The news team was understandably alarmed and quickly began to speculate as to the cause, with explanations ranging from fireworks to shooting stars and finally, aliens. It's a strange sight at first glance, certainly enough to cause some confusion and maybe even a little concern. But it only took about a half an hour to shoot down ET expectations.
Mystery solved. About 30 minutes later, we're sitting in our truck here outside the Milwaukee County Courthouse, and we heard them birds.
An alternative angle closer to the activity shows it to be nothing more than a flock of seagulls reflecting the bright lights of the city. That's right, close encounters of the bird kind.
Now that the sun's up, you can see no aliens here in Milwaukee, just a lot of seagulls.
That's strange.
Number 9, the Australian Mayday incident. While not technically a live event, these issues with broadcasting happened in real time. During the airing of an episode of the documentary series Mayday, the audio from a previous news broadcast somehow replaced some of the original show's audio. This eerie new soundtrack was a looping soundbite of a Halliburton truck driver reacting to his convoy being ambushed in Iraq. For 6 freaky minutes, everyone at home watching was subjected to the driver repeating, "Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord," over and over.
Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord. Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord. Jesus Christ, help us all.
I'll tell you what, before the age of the internet, that's what trolls did. That is how trolls got their fix, by doing things like this.
The fact that this was coinciding with footage relating to a passenger train crash made a deeply unsettling end result. The creepiest part is nobody knows exactly how it happened. Mayday indeed.
What the hell?
Number 8. Jamaican ghost attack. In 2010, a Jamaican news crew investigated reports of an alleged poltergeist attack on a young boy in Spanish Town. The boy claimed he was being pestered by a poltergeist known in Jamaican folklore as a duppy, and that this specter was a recently deceased friend who was now haunting him post-mortem. The news crew were astonished during the interview when he was seemingly grabbed and dragged around like a rag doll, whilst onlookers desperately attempted to intervene. Unsettling as it seems, the case should be taken with a grain of salt. Most cases involving children who report being bothered by spirits are usually attributed to a neglected or traumatized child lashing out.
Try to take him away, let me see. Oh, you're afraid, you're a coward. You're not doing nothing. All right.
In this case, lashing out is putting it lightly. Number 7, the running shadow.
Okay, the only way that I believe that is if he'd be literally pulled back or you know, levitated off the ground or anything inexplicable to the human eye. But I mean, it looks as if he's just throwing himself around. If he was literally pulled backwards or something like that, that's something different. Anyway, we've got the running shadow. This is one of the first clips we saw at the start of the video of a man or shadow running across the stadium at the speed of light.
So we've gone through aliens. Now how about moving shadows? During the broadcast of a soccer game at the Hernando Siles Stadium in 2014,
that's so freaky.
A moving dark figure. Although it was running at full speed, people in the crowd didn't seem
that is freaky, bro.
To notice. What made this incident all the more creepy was the fact that the figure can be seen moving through fans and even a barrier. While some theorized that the figure was in fact a soccer player double exposed on camera, to this day, the cause of this mysterious apparition remains unknown. Number 6, the UFO summoner. Is seeing really believing?
He's a Las Vegas man who claims he can summon UFOs on command. Pretty wild. So we sent Action News reporter Mike Delastrudo to get the real story. But what he found shocked everyone.
In 2005, Ramon Watkins, a man from Las Vegas who called himself Yahweh, claimed to have learned from the Old Testament how to summon UFOs. In a news report meant to expose him as a fraud, an ABC News reporter was left baffled when Watkins proceeded to seemingly manifest mysterious orbs of light floating in the sky.
I can see it clear as day. In fact, it's bright.
I can't see it.
It's moving pretty fast.
It's gone to Nellis Air Force Base. It wants to be seen.
The orange lights above their heads momentarily before disappearing. Many who saw this demonstration hailed it as evidence of the Almighty, referring to the fact that it had been the news team who had picked the location, day, and time to conduct the interview, leaving practically no room for Watkins to have feasibly staged the summoning. Divine power or complex misdirection?
How's that for a magic trick?
Number 5, the Vril.
Pretty damn good.
Across the pond in 1977, something even more bizarre occurred. The UK's Southern Television had their evening news interrupted by a 6-minute audio message of apparent extraterrestrial origin. The unsettling, booming voice coming through claimed to represent the Ashtar Galactic Command.
In Australia, Mr. Canada's cricketers are still playing West Indies rifle decision, which gives the command to play test match.
This is the voice of Allah, Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you.
These aliens offered humanity a
look at that shit, bro.
Corrupt ways of war, speaking cultishly of new ages and promises of transcendence. The general apologized for the outlandish signal intrusion, chalking it up to a hoax. It would indeed be strange if aliens broadcast a message to just one channel. Those responsible have never come forward.
The Ashtar Galactic Command.
Things in your existence may be blessed by the supreme.
I'll take that blessing at the very least.
Number 4. Justin from Big Brother 2.
What's
Slimeball
this?
Justin Sebeck was frequently overly confrontational with other contestants during his tenure on Big Brother.
No.
Justin, no! Don't do it! But the act that finally got him kicked off the series went way beyond typical reality show conflicts. Justin famously, and quite rightly, got evicted for disturbing behavior involving fellow housemate Krista. After some drinks, the two began kissing and flirting, when Justin suddenly held up a knife and threatened her.
Would you get mad if I killed you?
The drama didn't end there. A year after being kicked out of the house, Justin was arrested and charged with assaulting his girlfriend. To say Krista and the other housemates
my
dodged a
God.
bullet is a massive understatement.
I feel real sorry for Justin. I really don't. I'm sorry he did it to himself. You know, he got warned and warned and warned and warned.
Number 3, a criminal.
What an
on the
absolute
dating game.
freak.
Not quite your Mr. Right. On a 1978 episode of The Dating Game, Bachelorette Cheryl Bradshaw chose contestant Rodney Alcala as her man.
Well, let's see. Bachelor number 1 is a successful photographer who got his start when his father found him in the dark room at the age of 13, fully developed.
Though he was a successful photographer, Alcala was later turned down by Bradshaw for his creepy behavior.
Why do you say that?
Because that's the only time there is.
The only time? What's wrong with morning, afternoon?
Well, they're okay, but nighttime's when it really gets good.
Bradshaw may have escaped with her life. It turns out that Alcala was a repeated offender of serious crimes, including a string of killings he committed throughout the 70s, and his rejection on the show may have been a contributing factor in the murder of a further 3 women. Alcala is serving life in prison to this day, and his final kill count remains ambiguous.
We're gonna have a great time together, Cheryl.
Sarah Paul's a tremendous actress.
Number 2, Gary Stolman.
Oh no.
Lengths people will go to make themselves heard.
Saw us arriving, he put the gun down and said, I don't want to hurt anybody, and that was it.
In the middle of a 1987 broadcast, Gary Stolman walked
Look
onto
at the hair.
ABC set behind TV reporter David Horowitz and pointed a gun at his back, ordering him to read a statement concerning paranoid theories that the CIA cloned Stolman's father. The blindsided presenters were clearly horrified, but Horowitz was able to keep us cool throughout. The statement ended with the admission that the firearm was a BB firing replica before Stolman calmly placed the toy on the desk, apparently having never intended to harm anyone.
The gunman placed the gun on the desk and anchorman John Beard grabbed. Burbank police wrestled the man to the floor. He has been identified as Gary Stolman, and he said he never intended to harm anyone. Indeed, the gun proved a fake.
This incident resulted in Horowitz spearheading a campaign to ban realistic toy firearms. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe.
And after 25 long but engaging minutes, I hope, we're at number 1.
To our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You'll have the option to be notified for
The creepiest thing ever caught on live TV.
Go into your settings and switch on notifications.
What's it going to be?
Number 1, the Max Headroom hijack. In 1987, 2 television stations in Chicago were hijacked in perhaps the most surreal act of video piracy ever recorded.
It takes some pretty significant equipment, technical equipment, and some knowledge of broadcast frequencies.
Both instances featured an unidentified man dressed as obscure TV personality Max Headroom dancing to distorted audio. The second video, significantly longer, saw the man rambling incoherently in a distorted voice. Oh, and being swatted on the behind by an off-screen accomplice.
I've tried, but it's the only way to learn.
I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
Responses to the rubber-grinned menace ranged from bemused to horrified, and the perpetrators of this seemingly random act were never identified. The segments lasted no more than a couple of minutes, but have gone down as among the most notorious incidents in television history. That face is not an easy one to forget.
No, it's not.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about...
Okay. That's some good content. But what I will say is that if you do want to see me actually get genuinely scared, like freak out scared, watch my reaction to that very video that you see right there. The top 10 scariest YouTube videos. It's called Jake Reacts to the top 10 scariest YouTube videos. It was an absolute cracker. I've never been scared shitless like I was at the end of that video, okay? So if you do want to see that, be my guest. If you'd like to consider liking the video or subscribing, you'd be an absolute legend. And I'll see you in the next one. There's no time to lose. So peace out.